Hello, League fans, and welcome to the 2018 NA Academy League. I'm Julian Pastry Timecard, taking over the Academy desk with birthday boy Mark Zimmerman. Happy birthday, Mark!
Hooray! It's my birthday. Time to cast some Academy games.
Alrighty, for those of you who haven't been following Academy or Mark's birthday closely, yesterday we had our first double-header night as a result of our expansion tournament. For the summer split, the Academy League will mirror the LCS format and have a 6-team playoff, which means we have an extra weekend of matches to fit in the same schedule.
Right, teams will play a total of 2 doubleheaders over the course of the split. The first one being Thursday, that was yesterday, and the next one will be in week 7.
And as a reminder, those doubleheaders, as well as the All Academy Thursday games, can be watched on the individual team Twitch streams, which, Mark, been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, they're pretty good. You can check out the links on your screen for where to watch your favorite teams, and each team will be bringing their own unique flair to the broadcast.
I think for me, Cloud9's Cloudfield set has been a highlight, and of course, Bjergsen and Horns stepping into the casting shoes for a few games there on TSM.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool one. I liked the Team Liquid one just because as soon as the players win or lose, they usually come over to the setup because they're shooting the games out of the same place that they're playing them, so you get to see that cool overlap between the broadcast and the actual games being played.
Well, let's take a look at how last night's doubleheader affected the standings. First, we'll pull up how the teams finished at the end of Week 2. CLG Academy and Team Liquid topped the charts, undefeated, with Cloud9 right behind them. Clutch Gaming Academy and Echo Fox Academy on the opposite end of the spectrum, though, finished with 0 wins to their name. But after 2 games yesterday, a lot has shifted. Cloud9 and Team Liquid are now tied for first place after CLG finished 0-2, and they're tied in third with Optic Gaming, who's kept up with the pack. Clutch Gaming Academy leapfrogged over 3 teams, though, after a 2-0 finish yesterday. And of course, the weekend is not over yet, and there are more games on the horizon. Our first match sees Cloud9 Academy taking on TLA, and then 100 Thieves and FlyQuest Academy battle to come out on top in game number 3. We'll then close out with Clutch Gaming Academy versus TSM Academy, and with all that, we're going to jump into our first match of the afternoon, a battle for first place between C9 Academy and Team Liquid Academy. And of course, the big news from C9 this week is that another shuffle has happened. Keith and Zazel are returning to the Academy roster.
Yep, another big news weekend out of Cloud9. Of course, Keith wasn't looking so great in the LCS, so it's understandable to see him back down in Academy now with Zazel alongside of him, probably trying their best to keep the duo synergy together despite also keeping Sneaky in Academy. So this configuration means that we could probably see Jensen, Golden Glue, and Smoothie in the LCS, but we will have to wait for tomorrow before we get to see what C9 decides. What we do know is that we have 2 bot laners here in Academy, and Sneaky is probably going to continue having a good time with those gold funneling strategies that have centered around him recently.
Yeah, Sneaky has helped Cloud9 Academy to a 2-0 victory with Kale and Kaiser funneling strats, and today they go up against another 2-0 team from yesterday in Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to their LCS squad. The Team Liquid Academy team seems to have a very good idea of how they want to play the game out, and they are sticking to it. We've seen a lot of global engage picks like the Nocturne, Twisted Fate, Aurelion Sol, and this team clearly likes to rotate around the map to make plays. And this team showed a lot of promise last split, and they've hit the ground running so far in summer. So we'll want to see just how far they can push that, kind of team synergy they've built up.
Well, we are almost ready for Champ Select, but first, let's introduce the starting lineups. On the blue side, it is Cloud9 Academy. In the top lane, Shiro. In the jungle, Blabber. In mid, it's Sneaky.
Whoa!
But Keith. Joining him is Zazel on support and their coach, Westrise.
And over on the red side, it's Team Liquid Academy. And it's Viper in the top lane, Hard in the jungle, and Sandity in the mid lane. Shoryu as the bot lane carry, supported by Joey, with Tim Kiro coaching.
And again, certainly a lot to take in after so many games yesterday. But I think for these 2 teams who are looking quite good and looked good in spring, kind of fun to see what another suite of changes will herald for Cloud9.
Yeah, C9 in particular is interesting to watch because so many teams have kind of had players shifting around, and a lot of them kind of dropped down. We've seen FlyQuest not doing as well, Echo Fox not doing as well. And C9, despite those changes that seem totally crazy, are still at the top of the table.
Yep, doing well so far, but we'll see what the draft has in store for us here. First man Riven actually on the C9 side. Shiro's been playing quite a lot, but Viper has been playing that since before.
Yeah, Viper made his name, kind of came up into the scene on Riven, so even though Shiro's got a good one, it's not really worth getting into that game of chicken to see who's going to first pick it.
No, I don't want to Riven battle the Riven main, as Nocturne, the first ban there for TL Academy.
Also kind of surprising because they've had a lot of success with Nocturne themselves. And I believe we saw Blabber struggling with it a little bit. Got solo killed by Wiggly in the CLG matchup when he was playing the Nocturne. So either way, Team Liquid kind of banning out something that's been working very well for them.
Yeah, kind of interesting to see where we go. Talia actually the next ban here for TL and Aurelia. So it really does just feel like mostly strong champions getting banned with, I guess, the exception of Riven here.
Right, and of course we are on 8-12 still, so not quite the nerfed Aurelia that people are dealing with in solo queue. Win rate's dropped. A lot of people not used to the sudden lack of power that she has compared to the 8-12 version, which is obviously still very ban-worthy.
And Morgana, a really interesting ban, I think, just because of where you can position her in the meta. Decent support. We've seen her bot lane farm. You can maybe even play a mid. And with Rakan being banned, we now have C9 with their first pick.
Yeah, I like the both those bans because, like you were saying, the Morgana obviously functions in the bot lane as the kind of carry champion who soaks the gold up, so that way she can have bigger black shields, get your Zhonya, so you can actually flash in and use your ult aggressively, and then you usually put a hyper carry scaling funnel strategy around it so that you have someone to black shield. Not the case. Kai'Sa still picked though, despite that, and also with the Rakan ban, Xayah Rakan is something that's been seeing a lot of funneling strats as well, recently kind of premiering in Korea and showing up elsewhere. So no surprise to see that one also banned out because you're looking at the C9 Academy roster and you're saying, okay, Sneaky can't really play bruisers slash mages in the bot lane, so now that he's the mid laner, he's probably not going to play them there either.
And it makes sense. I mean, we saw him on Kayle, and Kai'Sa, which of course are two strategies that are marksman-like. Kai'Sa is absolutely a marksman. Sneaky has practice there. So with Lucian being picked on the other side for TL Academy, it could be a battle funnel.
Yeah, and they should really probably take the Braum pick here if that's what you want to do. Not actually going to do that. Going to take Olaf.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you. I think as far as champions you can do this sort of strategy with, Kai'Sa is arguably the best of all of them.
Right, and the Braum is the best support to pair up a marksman with if you're going for a funnel marksman strategy, as well as the fact that Lucian Braum's a strong bottom lane on its own, so you can keep it in the bot lane if you don't think you have to counter out a funnel strategy in the mid lane, or you just run Lucian Braum funnel strategy. But it's probably the case that Team Liquid was not practiced on that, as we haven't really seen much funneling out of them at all, if I believe. So didn't want to quite go funnel versus funnel against Sneaky.
I mean, still weird that, like you said, they wouldn't just take it as a bot lane, but still the picks continue. Braum is locked in for C9 Academy, and looks like Shen also locked in here.
Yep, Shen, a very flexible pick as well, can go top or bottom. So even though we're pretty sure that's Kai'Sa Braum funnel strategy, that can always be a Braum in the bot lane with the Kai'Sa and Shen going top. There's still a ton left in this draft.
And speaking of more unconventional bot lane champions, saw Heimer there for a brief second. That's
I would love to see it.
Best in EU, but maybe Pyke instead here for TL Academy.
Yeah, going for a very early game focus up against the kind of scaling strategy that funnel comp really is, even though it does turn online a lot faster than other scaling strategies, right? But you do have a similar idea in mind where you have a hyper carry, you want a lot of gold on them, and your early game is not very proactive. An Olaf with a Pyke is a very proactive early game combined with a Lucian pick as well.
Well, we'll see what happens in this next phase of bans. Vladimir, the next one for TLA. It's always fun to me in these drafts, especially because, like, what do you do with a lot of your bans? Is Swain going to get banned out? There's Brand as well. I mean, at some point you're just kind of guessing, right? Yeah,
definitely the case. And like the Kai'Sa is mostly built AP, even on this patch with those crypt buffs that come in. She just spikes a little bit faster if you go for the Ginsus plus the Devourer and then Nashor's Tooth kind of build. So not actually going to be a champion that you're going to pair then with a mage in the bot lane. You expect to see more of a physical damage threat somewhere on the map. Otherwise, you'll be really focused. But here we see the Karthus lock in, so we're probably going to get a funnel strategy out of Team Liquid here, because that's usually where you see Karthus.
That's true. We did have a Zoe ban, so kind of one of the more regular mid laners that's been left up, not available here for Insanity. So instead, Karthus with one more pick to come. I mean, we see Nunu a lot in these kind of strategies, but maybe TL have a pick kind of prepped up.
Well, so Nunu Kai'Sa is another version of this that's very, very common, and as C9 just locked that in. I mean, there's so many flexes in the draft.
And that's the thing, right? That's why it's so hard to do phase 2 bans, is because even if they correctly predict what you're trying to do, you can just move strategies.
Yeah, absolutely. So like maybe Brand and an actual combo with the Shen to find like a kill lane is off the table. So you say, all right, we'll put Shen top, Braum will go bottom, Nunu will go mid, and you'll run Kai'Sa Nunu instead of Kai'Sa Braum. It still works very well. Yeah, and then Ezreal is your actual bot lane carry because the Shen is going top now. So, I mean, C9 might have had to pivot in the draft, or this is what they wanted the whole time. It's actually really hard to tell.
And that's, again, the cool thing about how complicated these drafts are to navigate. So we'll see what the last pick is here for TL Academy, because if they're trying to funnel this Karthus, they don't really have an obvious support to do it with. Like, I mean, you could do it with Pyke, I suppose.
Well, so I think
they're going to pick Xayah here.
Yeah, the Xayah is going to go bot lane with the Pyke, and the Olaf is going to be jungle, and Karthus is either going to go mid or top. You can really flex the Lucian and Karthus to either lane, and that's fine. it is still a little surprising as Team Liquid end up with a strategy that is not quite seen elsewhere. We have seen the top out of Phoenix and Echo Fox, but just straight mid lane Karthus without any sort of funneling strategies behind it is a little out of the meta right now.
And I think if we think about the kind of things you want to take into these kind of strategies, I think the general consensus is like have a pressure point early that you can apply because this other team is just trying to play solitaire with you and push mid lane. Those are the two things that teams are kind of thinking this is what we need to defeat this strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Karthus is a great range farmer with the Q spam, always able to find ways to get that CS while staying at a safe distance away. That's why he was actually a somewhat viable champion in 2v1 lane swaps back in the day. So very much similar thing here. And like you said, and what we were saying at the top of the day, Team Liquid loves to run with global engage comps. You're not getting any engage out of your global in the mid lane this time for Insanity, but he has played the TF and the Aurelion Soul, so no stranger to contributing to kills in other lanes.
Yep, certainly getting some globals there as the teams will move out onto the Rift. This is going to be a fun one. I think C9 have found their groove somewhat, moving them players around back from the LCS roster down into Academy.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you took two things that look horribly wrong, double marksman and potentially for the LCS squad, double mid laner, and actually ended up with stronger identities for both. Whereas now C9 Academy is all about funneling sneaky on marksman, which is totally fine. And if the LCS squad ends up being what it appears to be, you have double bruiser lanes and someone else is playing a mid laner, or you have some kind of mage in the bot lane that Jensen's going to be a lot better on than Sneaky or Keith could ever be. And so you end up with two much more different squads, but with much more defined strengths.
Yep, arguably stronger. I guess we'll have to see. So far, so good for Cloud9 Academy. Looking to claim first, if only briefly here, by taking down TLA. TLA, though, of course, have the same thing available to them. So after some level 1 scuffles, Zazel's Braum got involved, but no stuns, no summoners really burnt, just a couple trades here and there. But this is the start we often see. Dual lane leash here, and Sneaky's going to start off on red buff with Blabber's help.
Yeah, and C9 have a very cohesive comp here. It's going to want to just try and passively farm and play defensive for, about the first 15, 20 minutes of the game. Kai'Sa and Nunu can obviously chase down some kills, but otherwise they're just going to want to keep farming away very happily. And that's what their focus is going to be, and Shen will be used as support to protect them as they do that. Team Liquid's comp, though we kind of talk about the level 6 aggression, it doesn't quite combo together ideally as we see Keith getting hooked out early.
Nice hook there from Joey, but the stun will land. Some trade damage will come back from Keith. But nothing too crazy. Keith is going to drink his pot and chill out. Interesting to see double team Materializer actually in the bot lane. Haven't seen that one too much since the time it is first active went up so much. But again, when you're just trying to kind of passively farm and not die, not a bad set of items to have.
Nope, definitely good for keeping the lane away from your turret. Friendly dives, that might come in as Keith continues
yeah,
to get
this
hit.
Is bad for keeping things away. Another great hook from Joey, and that's first blood almost instantly.
Oy.
Yeah, that's about all you can really say after that one.
Yeah, I mean, level 1 first blood, it is a bit of a scary lane, but, an Ezreal with Q should not be getting hit quite that much. Just not paying attention to the feathers on the ground, gets rooted up, which causes a free hook back by Joey. And, I mean, these were some of the problems that we were seeing out of Keith in the LCS, and one of the big reasons that we think he was moved back down to the Academy squad was while Golden Glue has been great in the LCS, Keith not so much, been struggling a lot, and so that's feels like one of the big prompts for the swaps that C9 has made this week.
Yeah, you could see, again, TLA's early pressure here as it all amounted to this very quick first blood.
Yeah, we're going to see a nice double Q and the E pullback as they hit 2. There's as simple as that. Just wasn't ready for the level 2 power spike and the E level up, I would assume. And
yeah. Died an auto in the air by the looks of things. As Keith and Zazel still getting heavily pressured here under the turret. Materializer not up for a couple seconds here. And again, Joey continuing to just threaten with hooks. Looks like Shoryu is going to back. Joey does get tagged, but Xayah is also going to have to cancel that recall.
And not actually going to get his recall off. Probably not too upset about it. Not a huge power spike to be had for Xayah right away. And what I was going to say with TLA's comp being a little not quite perfectly synergizing is Olaf, if you're going to go against a funnel strategy, is going to want to get really aggressive and invade all the time, and Karthus is just not good at that for the most part. He's going to be that kind of passive farmer, falls back, and back in the day when Season 2 was around, you'd actually go farm your own jungle camps and steal them from your jungler. He's really not good about moving into the map, no mobility, no escape tools to get caught out of position, so that is one of the best ways to punish a funnel strategy is steal their jungle farm so the Kai'Sa can't get ahead, but not really going to be able to do that as their mid-jungle skirmishing isn't there.
Yeah, and you can see Sneaky has been power farming through these early stages, already pretty far up in CS, and Blabber only sitting at 2 to give you a pretty good idea of what's been happening between the mid and jungle. Looks like early Zerka Greaves actually for Sneaky, and Coin instead of Relic Shield was the other one for Blabber, who's now upgraded that to the tier 2 support item.
Yeah, a little surprising. I think a lot of people do like that Targon's upgrade, but Coin works as well. Some people also take the Smite on Nunu instead going for the Exhaust. Won't have a great target to exhaust really at all. I mean, you might be able to exhaust hard, but that's about it, as he's a little out of position.
Yeah, oh, good flash coming from Shiro. Damage coming back out, and Sneaky, the best person for the job, gets some gold.
Yeah, and there we talk about the jungle invade not working out at all for the Olaf. Gets collapsed on. Karthus was back in base, wasn't even 6 if he wanted to contribute to that. And big punish as that kill goes on to the hyper carry Kai'Sa. Yep,
and again, they take their back, they get their kill, and now Sneaky with ultimate at the ready is going to keep farming through these camps, supercharging through the jungle. I guess it's just a matter of stabilizing the other lanes, because Shiro is also struggling here against Viper's Lucian, at least in the early 1v1. Nice taunt though into the turret. He's going to trade back well.
This is one of those lanes where, as the Shen, you really don't care about how far you fall behind. I shouldn't say you don't care how far you fall behind, because you still want to be farming a little bit better than he's doing right now, 20 CS down. And you want to keep your turret up, but you are not the focus of your team comp. You just want to lose as gracefully as possible. There's no way really to win this matchup, so you just want to lose slowly, and then hopefully by the time the Lucian might be becoming a problem, the Kai'Sa's already way ahead of him.
Yeah, and I think we'll see if C9 can kind of outpace the early pressure that TLA side lanes are currently putting out. Hard also continuing to play up in the jungle, going to aggressively start this Mountain Drake here again with TLA's bot lane pushing, and Insanity basically knowing that the mid jungle are probably not coming. Pretty good stuff so far as Joey looks for the stun, does pass through Zeyzal, but doesn't quite get Keith. Still the ignite back down, C9 scrapping, looking for Shoryu. Keith in, gets it. Here's the ult now, might actually get a double, but the Stand United is going to protect Keith. It's now Joey that's going to have to run and be safe. He gets the flip, tries to shift away with the Phantasm, and does get out safely. And somehow Hard, in and amongst all this, does not get spotted. Will take down the Mountain Drake for Team Liquid.
Not terrible for either team at the end of the day. Team Liquid trying to make some aggressive plays early on, but that Shen pick, as you see, protecting the bot lane all in. Well played by Keith to find that kill onto Joey. Or excuse me, Shoryu, and then Joey had a nice outplay to get out of there, but trading 1-for-1 for this C9 comp is really not the end of the world, and you're more than happy to alleviate that pressure on your turret, most importantly. And here you see, starts out really well, but the Braum Shield stops any possible feathers from getting through, and Joey shorts his E onto Keith, because if he went any further forward, he'd be under the turret, which then allows Shoryu to take a lot of the damage. Keith goes aggressive, knows he has the Shen to back him up, but a good flash throw behind him, and then E out in that direction was just a really cute outplay there by Joey.
Was nice. Only one casualty as a result there on TLA side, but again, game's still pretty even. TLA up a couple of 100 gold as the kills are all tied up, but again, just keep looking at Sneaky and the Kai'Sa. Looks like he's already on the way to Brave Blade first, which is what we expect. Pickaxe and 2 daggers done with 88 farms, still 20 ahead of Insanity, who is not farming badly by any means. He just can't keep up with all this jungle
Yeah,
farm.
It's one of those things where it kind of fools you. You're like, wow, he's down 20 CS. It's like, no, he's actually still the highest farm of any other laner in the game. He's doing exceptionally well, but in comparison to the Kai'Sa, yes, it seems like he's not farming super well. And, the jungle Kai'Sa, foregoing any jungle item, pretty common to do. You just kind of start with your first item and never upgrade it really. Ooh. You can if you want, but Sandy getting
Plasma
pressure in the
tag,
mid lane.
Killer Instinct gonna dive in. The exhaust is down. They got 2 tanks in the front side. Shiro actually does get the taunt. He is gonna finish off the kill. Shiro has had 2 great roams so far.
Yeah, I mean, being the absolute team player, taking the Shen into a bad matchup to get them very important picks, and then being able to get onto the map and actually influence other matchups. Very impressive so far.
Yep. Shiro then stays strong, hits the S key, and Joey's hook does not land. Sneaky is going to shove this wave into the turret bot lane for TLA. I think understandably trying to get more active in a lot of these situations, but kind of hard to get away from Kai'Sa and Nunu flying through out of their jungle into your lane. Is they going to steal the blue buff away here?
Yeah, absolutely. The struggle that Karthus feels in the current meta is, once again, Viper going to eat that turret. Taunt combo, but more than fine. They're going to be able to take this down. Pre-10 minutes, not bad.
Really impressive stuff actually here for Viper. Again, Shiro has been leaving his lane. It was already not a great matchup, so sacrificing a lot there to kind of help his team as Keith does get out from under The next spear being thrown. Here comes hard though. Ragnarok at the ready, but it's going to take down the control ward for now.
Yeah, so Viper's definitely doing a good job of keeping the pressure up and trying to accelerate the game as much as possible, but the bot lane has run into some issues despite an excellent first blood, not really able to convert that to too much turret damage yet. You see that still at around 90% HP.
Yeah. Again, 11 of 12 dematerializers used is helping somewhat, but certainly has been stabilized as Keith TP at the ready is likely just going to come back. Try and protect this turret once he feels a window to back is there. Sneaky and Blabber still sticking together, farming it up. Control ward straight in the middle of the lane, just to clear out that vision. And Sneaky very kindly donates some gold there to Blabber with that wall kill.
What a generous
I did not expect
hyper carry.
10 extra gold to the Nunu. What a nice guy. You can just see the gold right now. Yeah, already Sneaky 1,000 gold ahead of his opponent in this game, Insanity, although kind of a stretch given that Insanity all he's really doing is reversing these waves as quick as he can and trying to get involved.
Yeah, and you see basically 3,800 gold for almost all of the laners on the side of TLA, whereas much more concentrated as the Shen only has 3,000, but then 4,900, almost 5K on the Kai'Sa, and 4,200 onto Ezreal.
Sure, you're taking a big chunk of damage. Actually has his ult at the ready, but Keith gonna try and find for a snipe. Gonna get tag in, but not enough damage. But still gonna force them off the turret and keep the pressure up here.
Pretty disastrous start, all things considered now. Their bot lane has ended up losing the laning phase, basically, as the turret is under pressure. Makes it hard to set up plays down there for them to actually find kills and get the Karthus ult in. And while Shen will be underneath his turret getting pressured by the Lucian nonstop, it is pretty hard to dive Shen. And they are not going to be able to find any kills. They do get the Rift Herald, though, so maybe they can convert that into some more turret.
Yeah, this should help out. We'll see where Hard chooses to use that. Right now, Shiro just clearing out minions under this tier 2 turret in the top lane. Viper going to sweep some vision through, almost uploaded the Ruined King, so probably has it now with this base. Very strong in his 1v1, but Sneaky also with his first item completed, and it's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Ginsu's Rage Blade, first massive power spike for Kai'Sa, allows her to get that plasma stack up much faster once she has the Phantom hit active, well, not active, but passive on from getting all the Ginsu stacks. She continues to power spike from there pretty aggressively. As soon as you get your Nashers, you get that extra AP damage, you get your death cap, and suddenly you're hitting like a truck.
Yep, get your revolves, and suddenly everyone's dead on the enemy team. At least that's the plan for C9A. Sneaky with a Scuttle Crab pickup. Drake also back up in 40 seconds. We'll see if Cloud9 fancy fighting for the next Mountain Drake that's available. But so far, so good, I would say, on the C9 side. I'm kind of curious to see what TLA do with the pressure points they have created for themselves. Viper especially. If he's just going to stay side lane and get 1v1 pressure, I think he needs to get a lot done in this situation, or at least the rest of his team does, as the four of them try and do something else about this Kai'Sa.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in because for the side of C9, the Kai'Sa will overtake the Lucian. As we see a gank the bot.
Nice attempt here again. Zaza with the ulti. Oh, doesn't get it. Actually, Ragnarok through there by Hard. That's going to force the flash out of the Braum, but Keith goes in. Feathers are going to root him. That's a mistake. Stands United might protect him. Actually dodges the X out of Joey. So Keith will live somehow through that assault. But it's going to force Shiro back here as well. And again, Viper continues to keep going as Keith with a stopwatch avoids the Karthus Requiem.
Yeah, nice play there by both teams, honestly. TLA forcing a gank down the bot side as Blabber may be losing that trade.
Needs to put the fan speed on. Block there from Zazel trying to go unbreakable, but the dive is imminent. Shoryu flashing in. Zazel, goodbye. That's a kill for the Zaya, but a TP down in for Keith. He's back in to try and avenge his teammates. He gets one, but only one.
Still able to trade 1-for-1 is not the end of the world. Both supports dropping as Insanity died in the mid lane. Looked like Blabber was doing a great job running decoy duty. Barely lives within the HP, and I think Sneaky collapsed in. Didn't actually use his ultimate in the bot lane fighting that was going on, so maybe was able to use that as he was level 11 to make a big gap close on the mid lane. Hopefully we get a replay of that.
I'd love to see that again, because last time I checked, Blabber was dancing like a madman around those Skittles. So Rifter up top tier for Hart in mid lane. Looks like Viper's actually rotated down. Didn't want to go for top tier 2. Instead, make sure to crack the very important mid outer turret.
So a lot of things to recap after all that. It initially looked good for kind of both teams because TLA forced a lot of cooldowns out of C9 Academy and potentially bought some time for Viper to continue his split push game to try and stay ahead as much as he could. But then the 1-for-1s happened in the bot lane, and then you have Insanity dying in the mid lane, so things are not looking too great, but they do get their second Mountain Drake, which could allow them to start forcing around Baron once you get to the 20-minute mark and find more avenues to victory for them.
All right, well, checking with this, Zoe with a great flash hook on Azazel.
And you can see if you look at the minimap, that ult by Kai'Sa following Karthus into the top river, as we see Keith once again getting this cleanup kill onto Joey. Nice little teleport by the 80 carries. A lot more teleports in the game right now. Here's the replay we really wanted to see. The Kai'Sa W, snipes out Insanity and then gets the flash ult to get in range. And just no way to peel this Kai'Sa off. Way too sticky he is. Sneaky finds a little kill. And this is one criticism of the comp is there's really no hard CC on TLA's side. You have a stun by Pyke, which is pretty hard to land, and maybe a root by Zai.
I just love that Blabber went back in for a snowball there. It's a blue buff under threat. Sneaky, though, does get it. Burns Smite to make sure he secures the objective. But again, TLA doing the smart thing and not letting up their pressure so far. And really, I think in this situation, that's what they need to be looking for. Using the double mountains, constantly pushing the lanes, finding fights, and just trying to snowball the objectives in the game before, honestly, Kai'Sa hits 3 items and it's maybe too late. It's Keith. Gonna flash over the wall. Hook is gonna miss. Joey was blind. Nice attempt, but does not connect.
Yeah, not quite able to find that. So they continue to try to find ways to get some damage down on this turret. Every time they make a play down the ball lane, it somehow gets reversed. And so what was supposed to be probably the biggest pressure point for TLA is actually one of the last turrets remaining.
Maybe just send the other marksman in. Viper still having a good game.
Yeah, why not? Make him the 80 carry and put Zaya on split pushing duty.
Guys, we're swapping. As Blade and Phage, sorry, now done. Viper working on Black Cleaver as item number 2. We'll also keep an eye on Sneaky. Has upgraded to Red Smite, but no enchant. And of course, the Stinger, ever important for the incoming Nash's too.
And a little disappointed that Essence Reaver is not more of a staple on a lot of champions. I think there was a period of time where it came out and everyone loved some of the power spikes that they gave you, but it's a lot less consistent of an item than a Black Cleaver second or even some of the other items you'll want to go, because you need to start with your ultimate and then you get auto attacks and dashes off, and if you mess up the timing of that window at all, you end up with a relatively useless item that's basically just giving you AD. And so a lot of marksmen have actually gone away from that, despite Lucian being a power pick and being able to use that item pretty well.
Yeah, hopefully gets it eventually, but at least so far it's going kind of more of the standard solo lane Lucian build right now. Again, Joey continuing to threaten, channeling as long as he can, trying to feint out Keith, but Keith doing a nice job with his Iceborne Gauntlet, just protecting the waves. Shiro is going to find Viper, but he's over the wall with the Blast Cone's help. Shiro just with that Sunfire Cape, trying to stop all of this pressure from the Lucian. Sneaky continues to threaten in just about every lane.
Keith going with the Iceborne Gauntlet is, as I'll hold this point off, as we might have a dive brewing in the bot lane.
I was thinking about something. Razor does get himself hooked, but pretty safe target there. Even answers back with a Winter's Bite, so TLA will have to pull off for now.
All right, and the Iceborne Gauntlet looks nice at first because you think, all right, a lot of people are going to dive me. There's going to be an Olaf and maybe a Lucian and Zaya, but you know, if you're playing safe with a Shen, Nunu, Braum, you're probably not going to be in a position as Ezreal to get dove on too often. And while that extra defense does deter their dives from maybe being successful, it also feels like over-indexing into defense, because if your front line can't protect you, you're probably in trouble anyway.
He's just CC for the Kai'Sa, man. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, I guess so. He's just set up.
All about setting up. Sneaky, who does have Nash's Tooth now finished. Still, the siege continues. 3v2 here on the bot side. Looks like TLA should be able to clean that up and fell the outer ring, but Sneaky invisibly supercharged onto Insanity. Goodbye, Karthus.
Yeah, that lack of mobility becoming a bigger and bigger issue as they can just run at him. They get a snowball on him, land a W, he's dead.
Ooh, flip there. Zazel battling Joey. Joey with the first stun. Zazel just going to walk away. Knows that Shroyu and Hard are still here. Social Fissure out. Tag again with the Winter's Bite. Here's 2 more though. Sneaky firing away. Finds Shroyu. Big damage. Gonna reset that W, should be evolved by now. A Sneaky supercharges in, ult already used. Gonna try and flash forward, but a good route there as Joey gets a nice hook on a Blabber. Guardian proc. X is a mute! Huge stopwatch there from the Nunu, and Keith collects the kill on the support.
Excellent bait by Blabber as he gets Joey to go in. They find that kill, and now with a very healthy Sneaky and Keith, they're gonna be able to push down this bot lane turret, get their first turret of their own down here where they should have been under a lot of pressure.
That's some reactions there from Blabber, my goodness. finally some objectives going Cloud9's way as well. Up about 1,500 gold. So again, so far so good as they're nearing the mid game, but C9 still have to kind of leverage this a bit more and continue to use their power spikes to actually fight for territory now. I think the first phase of farming is over. Not that he won't keep farming, but kind of the hard part is over, I'll say. Shiro and Viper fighting it out. Viper actually losing a bit early on, but now going to start to proc it up. He's got the Black Cleaver. The ult's going to miss. Blabber is here, trying to get in onto Viper. Shiro again! Able to turn it back around. Insanity with the ult. Shiro's just going to accept his fate. Insanity gets the kill with Requiem.
Yeah, you just stop there and pray that somehow your refillable pot's giving you enough.
All right, Sneaky in a 1v3, supercharges around, does Killer Instinct. Great flash out of the hook, and Sneaky out scot-free is now the turnaround going to come in. Zeyzal, no Glacial Fissure. No one going to go back in just yet.
Not able to find any kill there for either team in the mid lane. And it ends up being a trade 1-for-1. Karthus finding some kills, but has been mostly shut down 2, 3, and 0. Only 195 CS. But with the double Mountain Drake and the pretty high Baron damage of Karthus and Xayah, they're going to try and force it.
You have been Void Seek. Sneaky can still start firing Poke, and TLA immediately get out of there after Key TP's in. Actually staying around for a little too long. Insanity getting low. Thanks for the leash, says Cloud9 Academy. Going to start off the Baron themselves.
Another start by C9. Getting a little aggressive here. I like the decision to back off. You're winning the game. Don't 50-50 a Baron. You're going to outscale. You have a better team comp. Do not take that bait. Team Liquid, I don't hate the start. You're falling behind. You have double mountain. Maybe you can sneak it. Not able to do so. Back off. They get punished though. Mid turret's going to drop.
And they just completely outplayed Viper's calling every shot into the door. But Blabber may not survive with a down. Sneaky though turns it back around, grabs himself a quick double plus the turret.
Sneaky continues to pop off in this game as they start looking to Baron. Some pings going down there. Maybe they can start it. Blabber's low, but he'll be able to heal up a little bit with the consume. Not going to do it.
Yep. Like you said, Cloud9 do not take an unnecessary risk there. Instead, going to go back, spend their gold that they just picked up, and they continue to get ahead in this game. Now the objectives that we had maybe a small worry about are gone, and we'll watch this one again because this is just so well played by Cloud9.
And that's the thing, the front line of Blabber and Zeyzal, doesn't matter how low they get. If Sneaky is untouched, you see him just walk forward there, drop his Q, Kathy and Rain, popping both marksmen on the enemy team almost instantly, and then there's a lack of damage for TLA, especially without that Karthus ult available.
Looks like Need to See Large Rod has now been picked up, so Rabadon's Death Cap likely the next item, and if I can read that correctly, I think that's Runic Echoes for Sneaky as well. Looks like he did actually get his jungle enchant.
Yeah, not going for the Devourer. Has enough attack speed already to, like you said, get that upgrade, so he's not going to go for it. He just wants some more burst damage instead, actually. Either build, obviously fine. Kai'Sa is a very flexible champion with build paths.
He does scale with items, can confirm. So 5-0 and 2, Sneaky feeling pretty good.
Yep, we saw definitely in the LCS grabbing some extra AD items to get his Q living weapon upgrade. So his Q ended up having, I believe, like a 1.3 damage ratio on the Q, which is pretty crazy when you have 800 AP.
That's a polite way to put that, let's say.
Yeah. Broken.
As Sneaky, my goodness, 13,000 gold. I mean, like, I'm bad at math, but like, he has so much of Cloud9's total gold.
Yeah, that's a bigger number than we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where Hard kind of caught out of position, loses his ultimate running away.
Kind of okay. Don't get hit by another Kai'Sa W.
He could have ulted. Sneaky, not being a man mode. Instead, they're just going to focus down this Baron pretty freely.
Yep, easy to take. A simple objective. Two-man easy stuff there for C9. As big Sneaky on Kai'Sa and Blabber just take that one down. Now Cloud9 also up for grabs, so Cloud9 probably going to sweep back through and take that. Or maybe push here in mid lane with the Baron empowered minions already ready.
Yeah, don't need to back off that. Just keep on going. And with your double marksman comp and 3 tanks, you're able to get a lot of zone control down for your marksman to walk forward and just melt through these turrets.
Yeah, Insanity trying to pop some lay waste onto the ground, but kind of tough to find a champion this fast. And too much damage on the turret will give Cloud9 a 4-2 turret lead. And still with Baron pushing up, these inhibited turrets are not long for this world.
Nope, we're going to keep Shen down the bot lane, keep Lucian split away, and just keep poking down away at these turrets with the Ezreal Qs and Kai'Sa Ws. You should be able to land some good chip onto people.
Yep, good poke. Everyone's got some attack speed increases. Like you said, great front line. And Shiro's in the back pocket, ready with a stand. United turret goes down. Insanity goes with it. and the inhibitor's just going to fall as well. 24 minutes in, and Cloud9 looking to seal this one up. Sneaky back in, looks to show you ult already burnt. One more auto needed, goes in supercharged and takes it down. Godlike and Sneaky does get grabbed up. The Stand United is going to get used, but Cloud9 still moving in, looking for the Nexus turrets. Right-hand side is getting low. Joey trying to pull the creeps away, but I don't think it's much left to fight for, Mark. There's his kills coming through. Sneaky is legendary with 9 kills, as Joey will finally be the final sacrifice. Doesn't pad Sneaky's KDA, but it's not going to matter. The Nexus falls, and Cloud9 finish the Super Week with 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, and Sneaky really popping off on these funnel strategies, getting huge in all 3 games, looking really good. And I just got to say, that draft out of TLA, I kind of hated it.
Okay.
Because it's very easy to look at a Kai'Sa funnel comp like that and be like, wow, that's broken. But they could have gone Lucian Braum as their first rotation to pull away something that Kai'Sa loves pairing with. And then after they had the Karthus locked in, they could have grabbed Nunu coming out of the second ban phase, and they didn't. And so they give away Nunu Kai'Sa or Braum Kai'Sa. Don't get Lucian Braum. They could have ended themselves up with Lucian Braum in the bot lane, Nunu Karthus in the mid lane, and something else in the top side. Instead, they just give C9 the perfect funnel comp. And that's what happens when you give someone the perfect funnel comp, and then you also make mistakes in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, I think even just going back to step 1, like, what is Kai'Sa still doing in the draft? I mean, this is the things that happen when you don't take Kai'Sa out of a game.
There's no synergy between your jungler and your mid laner. Your jungler's doing what he's supposed to be doing, but doesn't have any backup, so he dies. Then you have no gap closers or hard CC, so there's nothing to stop Sneaky from jumping on targets who are slightly out of position. And then once the Kai'Sa and the Ezreal get ahead, you have 3 frontline members here to just kind of act as meat shields. And then when you try and go in to punish them and kill them, there comes Sneaky out of stealth, instantly pops both members of the backline of the enemy team, and free kills. And it's very easy to look at that and say, wow, that looks broken. But you have to go back and look at the draft step by step and be, when could we have done stuff about what C9 was grabbing? The funnel Sneaky strategy is not a surprise. Kai'Sa first pick, like, what do you think is going to be drafted?
Yeah, I think especially given how they've played, like, I think you'd much rather have a Nocturne in that game on Cloud9's side than the Kai'Sa that they ended up with as their first pick. So, I mean, Kai'Sa's good enough when you don't funnel gold into her. Yeah. I think she's even better. So
you're playing against 2 marksmen on the enemy team. What do you think the strategy is going to be? Take away the things Kai'Sa pairs well with. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But, I mean, some of the things kind of made sense. I think, like, I don't like TL's draft either, but I think even in-game, like, they had points of pressure to use. The, like, theory behind what they were trying to do to stop it kind of made some sense, but execution faltered, especially in that bot lane. They had so much of an advantage there and just couldn't really convert it.
Yeah, they kept going down the bot lane. That's initially what I thought they were going to do with the Karthus as well. But with how much pressure you had Viper in the top side being, why not dive the Shen, take away that defensive tool, attack the global on the enemy team? Maybe you can get some kills up there, snowball Viper even harder. Instead, they kept going bot lane, and they kept flubbing those kind of fights as there was so much protection available with the Shen and the Braum on the bot side.
Yeah, it just felt like a really well-executed comp there for C9 Academy. And I guess we have a lot of questions about, what they'll be doing next week. They'll, of course, walk away from this one with 3 good wins coming out of a very long week for all these teams. But at some point, if they change again, what do you do? Because maybe they just keep changing strategies as the metagame evolves.
We'll have to see how the main LCS roster
that's true.
Performs on stage. Because if they are going with what we're speculating to be the kind of double mid laner, double mage focus that we've seen out of Fnatic and things like that, they do with their top laners, maybe they look great and you keep these 2 very separate identities. And then, God forbid you reach playoffs as C9 and this meta is still in place, you can swap out your rosters completely depending on how the game is going and the strategy is working, and go for funnel strats or the double mage strats.
We'll have to see. But to hear more about that victory, I'd like to welcome Keith to the broadcast via Skype. Keith, how are you, my good friend?
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
Good. Had a lot of fun watching you guys destroy TLA with a pretty perfect funnel strat. Was that kind of what you guys were looking to get out of the draft, or were you thinking that you had a lot of options to work with?
Honestly, we expected them to ban all the funnel strats, or like the most common ones, like Kai'Sa and the kill we played yesterday. But it seems like they just kind of gave us what we wanted today, so we had no complaints.
I guess, on that note, how are you guys feeling just after seeing the picks and bans? Because at the end of the game, it's easy for us to say, oh, that draft looked not great on the TL side and really good for you guys. How are you guys feeling after Champ Select?
I would say we're pretty comfortable because with funnel strats, sidelines have to play really carefully because you don't have a jungler that can help you out. So we just have Ezreal Braum that are safe in the side lane. And we also have Shen that doesn't really have to. He kind of just has to survive and play for the team. So as long as we don't fall super behind early game, then we outscale super hard.
So talk to me a little bit about playing in a team with 2 marksmen. I think, we've seen around the world people doing things with like double top laners and things like that. But I think this is the first time I've really seen 2 marksmen on the same team. So what has it been like playing with Sneaky and both you guys kind of stealing your champions from each other?
I would say it's been a pretty fun dynamic. With 2 marksmen on our team, you can pretty much guess who's going to play on LCS. So we kind of have to work around like, what are we going to play in scrims and the real games. So we have to like work with what we have and play some weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good when it wins.
Certainly does. I mean, I guess it's hard to say exactly going forward how that all works out, but I guess how much time do you guys have to even develop these strategies? Because obviously when you're told, okay, these are the players you have to work with now, what was like the turnaround like for figuring out, okay, we have these 5 players, like what's the best configuration strategically?
I would say the funnel strat worked perfectly with how our team is right now because we have 2 marksmen. We can play Eddie Curry's mid with funnel. We can play Eddie Curry's bot lane. But honestly, we didn't have much time to figure it out. We just decided we had 2 days to practice, so we're like, okay, we kind of have to play funnel.
Yeah. Well,
so we just practiced that, and I don't know. I guess we're pretty good at funnel.
yeah, it looks like it. Another guy I want to ask you about is just Shiro. He's been doing really well recently in Academy, turning a lot of heads. In this game, playing that Shen. What is it like playing with him as such a young guy?
It's pretty fun playing with Shiro. He's like this little kid who's super hyper and just plays ribbon and like he likes anime a lot. So it's fun to have him on the team, and it's fun to guide a newer player. I've never had that experience because I'm used to being a newer player. So it's a nice dynamic.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Keith, and congratulations on your win today.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
Thank you.
You too.
We will try. Mark will have a great birthday, won't you, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, that was a good surprise birthday gift. Perfect funnel strat.
There you go. That's what it was all for. Well, with that, Mark C and I are going on a Costa cooldown, but we'll be back soon with Counter Logic Gaming versus Golden Guardians Academy. Don't go anywhere.
Definitely good for keeping the lane away from your turret. Friendly dives that might come in. Keith continues to get
this
hit.
is bad. Killer Instinct gonna dive in. The exhaust is down. They got 2 tanks on the front side. Shiro actually does get the taunt. He is gonna finish off the kill. TLA should be able to clean that up and fairly out of ring, but Sneaky invisibly supercharged onto Insanity. Goodbye, Carthus. Into the door, but Flabber may not survive with a down. Sneaky though turns it back around, grabs himself a quick double. One more auto needed, goes in supercharged and takes it down. Godlike and Sneaky does get grabbed up, and Cloud9 finish the Super Week with 3 wins in a row.